What's up guys, Goat Rodeo Gaming here, back with another video. This time we're playing a train simulator, playing Run 8. This is the most realistic train simulator out there. I've tested all the different train simulators. Train Sim, World 2, Train Simulator 2022, Trains a New Era, on and on. If you'd like to see my reviews on those train simulators, check out our channel and go watch those. Today, we're doing Run 8. We're just about to leave Bakersfield Yard. I just got authority from the dispatcher to come out. And yeah, we're going to get going. Just going to make sure everything is working here pretty good. Alright, let's get going. See, everything's up. Let's turn on the beacon. Why not? Nope, won't let us. Lights. We're going to go to bright because we're going to be coming out. Yeah, we'll put it on dim, just in case. Rear headlights gotta be dim. It's my first time playing this game in some time, so bear with me. Might take a little bit of remembering. Let's see, insert. Put in run 1. Let's see, release that. So today we got 5 tunnel motors. Got about a 7,000 ton train. We're going to be going up Tehachapi, heading east out of Bakersfield, so should be good. Starting to creep a little bit. Put on the bell. The horn is from, it sounds like, an SD70 ACE, so I'm not sure why it's set up like that, but it is. I know we can change it, but I can't remember. So, let's see how she goes. Former Union Pacific conductor, I don't think that's anything special. Have some experience running trains. My main route was the Cone Path, Yermo to West Colton, back and forth. Not an expert, not claiming to be an engineer, but I definitely paid attention and learned a lot from the engineers I worked with. And I ran quite a few trains when there was no inward facing cameras, like up here. So, yeah, really like this game. Gonna start doing this series, maybe 1 or 2 videos a week. Just running different trains, maybe running some locals, just all that good stuff. So we'll see how she goes. If you guys enjoy it, I'll definitely have to do more of them. Well, everything's together. That's nice. Just coming out of Bakersfield Yard here. Limited to 10 miles an hour coming out of the yard. Pretty much all yards are 10 mph. Once our rear end gets on the main, we're at restricted speed until we can see the next signal indication. So, yeah. I'm not sure how to work the counter on this thing, so might just have to kind of guess it. Like I said, got the bell on because we're coming out of the yard. Letting other people know that we're moving. So this is Run 8 version 3, just picked it up. Really like the auto dispatcher. That was the only thing I didn't like about version 2 when I played it on past videos that are on our channel. This is my first video here on version 3, and yeah, the auto dispatcher seems pretty good. Yeah, take off some sweet jumps. the sweet jumps, bro. Alright, we're gonna turn this annoying thing off. So, we'll try to get pretty far into the route, we'll see. Don't plan on doing this for like hours and hours straight, but hey, we'll see. Well, Golden Wonder, get that OBS studio going, man. If you can hear me. Oh, I forgot how boring it was when you have to do 10 miles an hour. I don't miss that. Let's cheat for a second. Rear the train, still in the yard quite a ways. Looks like the cloud graphics are definitely better than version 2, so that's pretty neat. Man, my life would have been so much better if I could have just jumped around as a conductor like that. Woo! This is Conductor Kyle over here. I named him Kyle because he kind of looks like a Kyle. He drives a F-150 and drinks Monster. So, Kyle's pretty quiet. Not much of a talker, unless you're a bro. My character is an old guy. His name is Cranky Old Head. So let's just say him and Kyle don't jive. So it's going to be a quiet trip. Don't want to overspeed. Gonna do daily challenges on wetlands. Yeah. That'll be good, man. More content. So it looks like we got a yellow, but I can't see for sure yet. Other things about this version is you can actually derail. That's, I think, important. Version 2, you never derailed. You just went super fast. It was basically just up to you to want to run the train within the speed limits. Look at Kyle here. Yeah. Lifeless, look at him. He hasn't had his Monster 6-pack today. I bet you he's the guy that drinks the Monster coffees too. Can't see, looks like kind of drop down and then starts climbing again. I've never done this route from this end in real life or in the game, so I don't know anything about it. So we're gonna just wing it and try to roll with it. Alright, let's see where the rear of our train is. This is how I'm gonna see if we're clear or not. We're almost out of the yard. Almost there. Got an EOT on the rear. Almost got a chance to seniority swap with a guy out of Bakersfield. I was in the Los Angeles service unit, so this wasn't my territory. Almost got a chance to swap with him, though. That would have been really cool. I always wanted to work out of Bakersfield and go up over to Tehachapi. So, but never got the chance. It is what it is. Anybody know how many horsepower per tons you need to get over Tehachapi? I think I'm at like 2. I don't know if that's enough. See here, I got 5 tunnel motors. Want to get the tunnel motor DLC that Run 8 has. That's pretty sweet, but these will do for now. Alright, we're out of the yard. Let's boogie. Start gripping and ripping, brother. So that is actually the backside of a westbound facing signal. So we're at 20 miles an hour until eastbound facing signal. Yippee. The cab graphics are awesome. Outside graphics, it looks like Windows 98 in some spots, but you know, that's the only complaint about this game is, you know, the graphics. Yeah. Hopefully that gets addressed in the future, because obviously it can be done. 89 on the rear. Over 130. No independent on. Yeah, Kyle probably is watching TikTok. He's probably, his name on TikTok is probably Conductor 69 or something like that. Oh, you see that? He moved. He's alive. I just want a signal so I can go fast. Oh, he got a signal. Let's see. Well, looks like we're drag racing BNSF, but he's actually going to line us out in front of him, at least for right now. Wow. As long as it's not 5 miles an hour over, we don't get fired, so hey. But it looks like we're picking it up a bit. We're in that little dip. The dip. I feel like these two switches aren't hand thrown anymore, but hey, whatever. And we're floating a little bit. Might have to set some air or something. Whoa, what the hell was that? Don't break down on me, old girl. Wonder if they can break down. Anybody know that? Milepost 317. Derp de derp de derp. Should probably turn on the bell. Getting kind of close. I didn't see a whistle board back there. Man, I wish I could have zoomed in like this too in real life. Oh my goodness. That is definitely not a SD40 horn. I can tell you that right now. Wow, that whistle board's really far out. We're losing speed. Anybody know how to change the horn? I know how you can change it in here. That would be great to know. Let's wind her up. Oh yes, graphics. So I think we're coming up on Edison. Yeah, we're still a ways out. He's coming up behind us a bit. I don't know why he's not running him up to here. This thing is overloading. Hey, there it is. You want to race, bro? Conductor pedo right there. ESF sucks. Hey, we have the same horn.
UP detector milepost 318.8 track 1.
We got a readout. Jeez, can I have whatever power you got?
UP detector milepost 318.8 track 2.
Look at him. Oh, alright, fine. Fine. I won't look at you. Kyle. this landing strip. So one thing that's cool about this game is all these spurs that we're seeing going off of these industries, these are actually all serviceable. So that's pretty neat. So you can have endless locals. Wow, really? Where's the alerter at? That works. That's the first time it's done it.
Detector,
That's
milepost
hilarious.
318.8, track 1, no defects, no defects. Total axles 368, train speed 36 mph, ambient temperature 74 degrees. UP detector out.
This horn is driving me nuts.
UP detector, milepost 318.8, track 2, no defects, no defects. Total axles 258, train speed 26 mph, ambient temperature 74 degrees. UP detector out.
You know, way to turn this down? Holy crap. There we go. Holy crap. I'd really like to get the Cajon Pass DLC and then the San Bernardino subdivision DLC, because then you'd have West Colton and then the BNSF all the way into LA. That would be crazy, because already I could go from Bakersfield to Needles with just the routes that come with this. That would be pretty nuts. This is a long train. Well, they're still lining us out. If you guys haven't seen it, I actually made a Tehachapi route map for Transport Fever 2. It is out and it's up on the workshop. Look for our profile, Goat Rodeo Gaming. Actually turned out really well. So it runs all the way from Bakersfield to Mojave. It's an easy way to do it when you don't know where the alerter is. Bale Sand, that should be right around here. Maybe I'm just stupid and I'm just not seeing it. Whistleboard. Milepost 320.8. Oh yeah. Got a good load. So you can actually click it. Nope. Nope. So we should be coming up to the sand cut crossovers here pretty soon. Yeah, that's the next control point. Yeah, alright, alright. Wish this thing would fold up. He's probably thinking about taking his dune buggy out to like Glamis and monster hats, high black socks, maybe some old school Osiris tennis shoes. That's what he's thinking about right now. Hey, there's a crossing! That's what happens when you go straight for too long. You get bored. Especially when you got Kyle over there who doesn't remind you that there's a road crossing coming up. Or anything. That would be useful information. Alright, coming up on sand cut, maybe another mile or two. Yeah, we're doing alright so far. I don't know what the gradient is right here. Does anybody know what the grade is? Coming out of Edison. Mile post 322.4 looks like. He hasn't left us in the dust yet. That's not bad. Let's spawn some more trains, shall we? Put some sand on too while we're at it, and maybe that'll get us going. Bakersfield, Main 2. I know there's a lot of multiplayer on this game with servers and stuff. That'd be fun to do, but I'm not really in the know on any of that stuff. Once again, this is Run 8 Train Simulator. You could search it in the Goog. It's not on Steam. I would highly recommend you pick this game up if you want a realistic railroad experience. Graphics aren't the best, but everything else is. Controls are very in-depth. You can't like manually grab the throttle, reverser, dynamics, independent, automatic. You can click some things, which is cool, but it's so complex that a lot of it's in your keyboard, which is kind of cool if you're working if you're doing like a yard job setting, or you're working a local, taking cars to industries. you know, you can be outside of it, basically using it as a remote locomotive. So that's something that I think is good about that. Now, what is the speed here? Because I have no clue. It didn't say. I couldn't see it. I'm sure it's greater than 16, so. Looks like we got a green over red, so we're good to go. Staying on main track 1. Just got done making another map for Transport Fever 2. Southern California Megalomaniac. Runs from, got the Port of Long Beach. Then you could run all the way up towards Simi Valley. Or in the vicinity of Palmdale. And then east to west, you can run all the way from Beaumont to LA. Yep, there we go. So you could run all the way from Beaumont to LA. You could run all the way from Long Beach up to Barstow. So it's got the Cone Pass, you got Beaumont Hill. All the realistic railroad routes are already pre-laid with the signals. I included Taylor Yard, West Colton, Barstow Yard, the Santa Fe Smaller Yard in San Bernardino, a couple different yards down in Long Beach for the intermodal and the manifest. Some custom industries, so you could run locals throughout the different routes. A lot of good stuff. We got a video on it, so make sure to check that out too. That's up on the Steam workshop for Transport Fever 2. So yeah, I think you guys are really going to like these maps I've been doing. Also going to try to get back into Derail Valley. Maybe put a video out a week doing that. So between Train Simulator, Run 8 Train Simulator, Derail Valley, and Transport Fever, those are the 3 things I'm hoping to come out with once or twice a week each. And then me and the other half of Goat Rodeo Gaming are going to try to get back into Railroads Online. That's a cool game if you haven't seen it. Was having some multiplayer issues on that game, unfortunately, but they're coming out with a new update, which is dropping pretty soon, and we're going to try it out again, see if we can actually play together. That would be nice. This is one thing I wish the dispatcher would I wish this dispatcher in this game would maybe prioritize some other trains. Like, he's way ahead of us, so he could line him out, and we could probably, and he'd be in the next block by the time we'd get to here. So then we could all keep moving up the hill, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe I could try something. Just want to make sure I'm not doing anything crazy right now. Let's see, Auto DS. Flip the switch. Valid routes. What do you mean? On. Damn you, alerter. Uh-oh. I turned the windshield wipers on somehow. How'd I do that? Ah, it's a V. Ah. Learn something new every day. Yeah, but he still has us lined out. Jeez. Whatever. Hope he knows we're gonna be crawling. I have to put some helpers on this thing. Need the bell. Love these old school SP cantilevers, I believe they were called. It'd be really cool if they still had some of these left, but they're pretty much all gone. Still some searchlights out towards Glamis on the Yuma sub, but yeah. Pretty much long gone. Okay, so it seems like he rerouted us. Ah, there we go. Hey, he's using his brain. How about that? His name's Otto. Like Auto Dispatcher, but it's spelled O-T-T-O, I believe. So that's kind of funny. Concrete? What? What do you think about all this, Kyle? Monster. F-150. Dickie shorts. Yep. So let's see, what are we doing? A little over 20. Since we'll be stopping, we gotta be kind of cautious because we drop back down. I've never been through here, so we're a little underpowered. And I don't know the specifics of this route. Never been through here. So he's lined up. We're going to be coming down into Benna. Ah, Otto's from The Simpsons, huh? I didn't know that. Start throttling off. I don't want to come flying down in here. Let's see here. We don't want to be driving this thing like a granny, but I also don't know this route, so. And I have not seen a speed board either. I'm going to give it a light set, stretch it out. So it'll help us slow down. So we'll basically be dragging the train. Got a 5-pound set, 4 or 5-pound set. Yep, so we got a yellow. Up there we got a red, so gotta make sure we don't go through that, which we very well could. I'm gonna set some more just to be safe. This thing is not wanting to stop. Alright, we're starting to come down now. Yeah, he's looking real worried over there. Yeah, coming up on a signal. So we just released all of our air. Almost got it down to where it would have been great, but not quite. Hey, I heard a cow out there. Air's charging back up. It's funny, it's more difficult for me to run this train in this game than it would be in real life, because I'm fumbling all the controls.
No defects. No defects. Total axles 368. Train speed 28 mph. Ambient temperature 76 degrees. UP detector out.
Give her a sec, come to a stop. Bailing. That's something that the other train simulators don't have you do, is bail. That didn't go as bad as I thought. Set the independent. And now we wait. Whoops, wrong button. Ha! I meant to center the reverser and accidentally hit release the automatic. Dirt to dirt. No, I want the sander off. There we go. See, Kyle, you were over there all worried for nothing. See, I brought it right down. Yeah. You don't even gotta look forward, you know? I got it. Alright, good talk. So, let's get out. Why not? Should be another train coming down. See, we're not very long, but we're heavy. I think they added some weathering to these units for this version 3, so that's pretty cool. It looks better. I wish there was like a modding community for this game. It's really only DLC. We really need to get a modding community going. Wonder if they discourage that or not. Supposed to stop 400 feet away from the signal. But this is pretty good. So, can't complain. Let's see what's going on. Still line for the main. So, we'll see if we get to go next. Where this run 9648 right here. Engineer, like I said, this cranky old head. So, that's why him and Kyle don't really jive. Used to come up here in the spring, and it is beautiful up here. One of my favorite places to go when it's nice and green and it's not hot. Let's see here, still getting used to these controls. This is an intermediate, so since we're not in this block anymore, that's why it's got a yellow going the opposite direction of us. Oh, here comes that other train right there. Old Golden Wonder, you gotta pick up this game at some point. It's pretty complicated, but it's endless with this game, what we could do. Endless. So, something to consider. Let's see, any indication who's going next? Yep, they are. Figures! We might be here a while. Just like in real life. I guess I should have just, well, Otto did change this by himself, so. What can you do? Let's go stand in the shade over here. This nice textured 3D plant. Yes, it is multiplayer. You can have your own server, and you can have all these AI trains going, and we can deliver to, like, we could spot and pull like probably 200 different industries. All you have to do is, if you come over here, So you click on this, and there's this train symbol down here, tagger. So you can click on the individual rail car, and you can tag it to a destination. Now you need to know what that destination needs, whether it's lumber car, like a center beam, or a box car, how many, blah blah blah. But you can tag it to certain destinations, and then you take a car there, or however many cars, to that destination. Actually, it loads or unloads. And there's a website you can go to called the Depot, and it shows you all the different locations in there. They each have like a 3-letter basically symbol for the different industries, so you can tag stuff there. You can work locals. One thing I thought would be cool is like have this as a hauler, so you're going in between, let's say Mojave and Bakersfield, but on both ends of the map you got to switch out the cars, rebuild the train, haul it over the pass, do the same thing in Bakersfield, and just kind of go back and forth with a bunch of different, with a big train, but it all goes to different industries. So that'd be kind of fun. I'm gonna roll this guy by, look for defects. Hey, run 8. And he's powered up, look at him. So yeah, multiplayer, and yeah, endless game, endless amount of potential. There's like 400 miles of track. You can go from Bakersfield to Needles, 3 different subdivisions, and they're all connected. So, yeah. Never seen a stacked train with box cars mixed into it before, but hey, whatever. It's that new precision railroading crap. Alright, so we're here. He's going to the siding. Got another one coming up behind us. So I wonder if we'll get out ahead of him or not. We'll see. For this train right here, engineer Cranky Old Head. If only you can look at yourself, then it would be so fitting. So like usual, I kind of paid attention, kind of didn't, just like in real life. So I'd tell this guy, eastbound at Bennett, highball. That's what I'd tell him on the radio. Highball the roll by. Just a safety precaution. Might as well use another crew that stopped to try to prevent something from going wrong. I would be looking for smoke, sparks, loads hanging off, something low hanging under the car, like brake rigging or just metal itself. You're just looking for any kind of defects that might be a problem. So that's what a roll-by is. You'd be amazed how many conductors won't do roll-bys anymore because they're lazy. So what do we got here? We got this Santa Fe train. He's lined up all the way to the Bealville crossovers. The only one we have coming against us is this one. He's still crawling up from the other side of Mojave. Let's see. This is UP North, so we'll meet him. We'll meet him. So we got probably 3 we'll meet at least. This is the needle sub, so you don't have to worry about any of this, just taking a look at it. This is Barstow Yard, so all these tracks and stuff, you can go in there and play. You can totally configure all this to bring trains in, take trains out. You can hump. You can start humping cars, build a new train out of those hump cars, and then run that train. And then wherever it ends, you could switch out cars to locals if you wanted to. There's just so much you can do with this game. It's pretty awesome. Oh, he still has it lined up for these trains coming out. What does the pink mean? Maybe I overspeeded there or something. Which I definitely did. So he's lined up all the way to Cable, so that's pretty far. Let's see what we got going on. That's our train if you just joined. Just waiting on whatever Dispatcher Auto wants to do. Let's go pet some cows, huh? Can we go through the fence? Yep. Look at that texture. Awesome. It's like Farm Sim Golden Wonder from like 2000. Yeah. No indication on who's going next yet. Hey Kyle, why don't you come roll something by for once? Kyle. Kyle. Had a really good friend of mine, he was an engineer. Fortunately, he passed away recently, rest in peace to him. But, great guy, great engineer, great dad, family man. Well, we had a long trip. He was exhausted. We pulled into the receiving yard in Colton. I have to get off, roll the train by so I could spot the rear of it at the end of the track since we were pulling in. And, he told me, he's like, yeah, I'll probably be napping on the head end when you get up there. Just yell, and I'll wake up. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I roll the train by, we park it. You gotta tie 6 brakes at Colton on the east end of a cut. And I walk back up to the head end, then you cut your power off and you take it to the roundhouse there in Colton so they can be serviced. That'd be the locomotives. And he was knocked out. He wouldn't wake up, and I'm trying to talk to him on the radio, and it wasn't anything important, so it wasn't like he was being irresponsible. But he's knocked out. I get up to the unit, I'm outside of it, I yell at him, still doesn't wake up. I mean, he's dead to the world. And I got this big piece of gravel, and I threw it out his window, and it sounded like a gunshot went off, and man, I thought he was going to jump out of the cab. It was great. He wasn't too thrilled, but I only did it because we were good buds. Hey, look at that. We got a signal. It's boogie. Let's try not to hit the wrong controls again. Like I said, still getting used to this game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throttle up a bit so that we don't roll backwards. The other thing that's kind of annoying is the camera is kind of distorted since there's no actual like figure. So that can kind of get agitating, but nothing crazy. start releasing the independent. See if we can get this thing rolling. Run 2 might not be enough, so we'll see. Try not to break this thing in half. We're kind of like down in a bowl. Head ends on an ascending grade. Rear end's kind of on flat ground, kind of on a descending grade. So this is an easy way to break a train. So we'll see what we can do here. If you want to see if you're moving, just look at the ground right next to your window. Yeah, see, it's working. Nice and easy. You're kind of using the independent as a clutch. Rear end's moving. I'll let out some more. Alright, so we got it all together. You're looking at this load thing too. You want to let it kind of settle. When you're throttling up, you'll see this thing spike, and then you want to see how it's settling back down. It's because there's basically less, I guess, it's not the specific term, but tension. It's the power meter, but it's just a good indication to watch what you need to do when you get going. So we're letting it settle down a bit, and then we'll grab another one. So watch it climb back up. At this point, we're all stretched out, so we could probably throttle it pretty quickly, but, you know, if you break this thing in half, that sucked too, so. Kyle, still staring at the same fly on my cab right here, probably. Or he's tripping out over this sun blind. I am impressed with the dispatcher. It seems pretty good. He did the smart thing and let 2 higher priority trains go by, which is what you'd want to do. He's probably letting us go so any westbound trains can go where we were parked. So that was realistic. I like it. Up the hill we go. Yep. Man, it must be nice to never have to blink. We're there. Let's see what's going on. We're lined up all the way to Caliente. We'll be on the main. So that's pretty good. Got 2 trains coming up the hill. He's almost at Tehachapi. So we'll meet them probably somewhere around here. We'll see what happens. Here's a high-wide detector. Since we got tunnels coming up, they want to make sure that we could fit through them, because sometimes you get loads that fall off to the side or up high, down low, and they don't want to damage the tunnels.
Milepost 328.6.
funnest part. Just grinding up a hill. Yep. It would be nice through here though. This is good country in real life. Especially if you got a day trip like this. Woo. That'd be good. That's how you do the alerter, friends. Just honk the horn. Still haven't been able to find where you hit the alerter in this cap. I don't think there is one, which is kind of funny. It should be right around here. Got the headlights. There we go. You can see everything a little better. So what things would you guys like me to see in regards of just railroad games in general? Obviously played Transport Fever 2 a lot. I'm gonna get back into this game in Derail Valley. Yeah, what would you guys like to see? Shoot that in the comments or in the chat. Like I said earlier, oh, there's the defect, the detector. Yay, no defects. $78 out. I think this is supposed to be set. It's set in March. Alright. We're actually doing really good right now. I can't believe it. Is the rest of our train still attached? It is. Wow. Can't believe we're flying like this. Must not be too bad of a grade right here. 30. Hey, there's a speedboard. Milepost 330. Definitely wish we would have been able to use these older SD40s and stuff back when I was at the UP. You'd get these in the yards and on locals and stuff like that, but you know, on mainline trains now that they got all these big road units these days, and they have for a while now. Would have been cool to work 20 years ago, back when this stuff was common on the main line. They're just cooler to be in. Less technology. It's kind of like driving an old truck, you know. There's just something cool about it. So this, I believe, is Imond. This is where it goes back to double track for a few miles all the way up to Caliente. Yep, Imond. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Just got done making a map on Transport Fever 2 of this whole route, so make sure to go check that out if you play that game. It's up on the workshop. Seiko. We're flying up this hill. I thought we would be doing really bad. I mean, we might a little later, but this is nice. We are starting to drop down. See what's going on up ahead of us. So we're here. Cranky old head. Got him coming out ahead of us. He's lined up into this siding. Got the first train that passed us up earlier. He's almost to Bealville. He's lined through the cliff. Got these two trains that are coming against us, along with these two later on, but we might be on double track already by the time we see them, so we'll see. Yeah. Believe it or not, there's probably some conductors actually like this that work for the UP. They don't pay attention. They just sit there and drool. Got a flasher. Yeah, we definitely hit a steeper pitch. We've dropped down quite a bit, about 5 miles an hour. That's a good indication that we'll get over the hill. We won't need helpers, so that's nice. Bam. Perfect day to be playing this game right now. Where I live, it's 33 degrees and cloudy. It's cold. Looking forward to spring. Still 30 miles an hour, milepost 332. Milepost 332.4 is where the signals are located. Let's see what's going on again. He's out of the siding. He's still not past Bealville, but he'll clear up into here. We might have to stop at Caliente. Greaser. And can you imagine if a big gaming company bought the rights to this? All they need to do is keep the physics, keep all the controls, like literally change nothing except maybe add some more vehicles, some more locomotives, different paint schemes, rail cars, etc. All they would have to do is just revamp the graphics, and this game would be the best railroad game ever made. I think a lot of these games all have their strengths and weaknesses, but man, if you can get some good graphics going with this, with the system it already has in place, that would be nuts. Whoa! Engine surging. We just break a coupler. We did just break a coupler. How about that? That's funny. Nice. wonder if it was that power surge that caused it. Sometimes a big jolt like that, or... That's weird. Let's see if we can find it. Luckily, it's a short train. Sometimes there's just places in the route where you have to throttle down in order to prevent getting a knuckle when you have these sharp curves. But, like I said, I'm not familiar with this route, so I wouldn't know where those are at. I feel like, though, that this wasn't very warranted, but hey, whatever. Something you're not allowed to do on the Union Pacific is run. If I had to guess, it was somewhere around here, since we're on the curve. Yeah, where's this shit? No. I could just fly around and find it real easy, but that'd be kind of lame. I don't think that we had too much power on the head end. That's the other issue that could have been the reason why we got a knuckle. Because we have too much pulling force on the head end so that the couplers can't handle those kind of in-train forces, which is why you see a lot of DPUs over Tehachapi these days. Now that's a really long, it's a little distorted. There might be a way to change that. Say, nope, that's not it. Some long draw bars there. Let's see. Yep, there's the brake right there. Don't even have to guess. Huh, that's a really weird spot. If I were to think about it realistically. Oh, the first thing we need to do is we need to close the angle cock. We need to fix it. Yeah, whatever that said. So we got that applied like we would do in real life. These cars are an emergency, but had 2 cars would probably hold this. There's only like 9 cars. Alright, so let's go to the head end, just like that. So now we got the angle clock closed. We'll at least have air all the way through. So what we'll do now is I'll go back there and I'll release the independent, let it kind of roll back into it, then we'll cut it back in and try to keep on going. Hey, right to the brake, that's what I like. Alright, so let's go back to where we need to make a joint. We'll release the independent just enough to where it starts rolling a bit. A little bit at a time. Don't want to slam this thing, because these things can derail now in version 3. For those of you just joining us, the train broke in half pretty randomly. Going up the grade. Didn't do nothing, it just decided to go pow. Any day now. Any day now. Come on. I think it's moving ever so slightly. I might need to go to the head end and see what the heck's going on. The independent is off. PC open. Alright, I think we got to do this. We gotta put this back on. Close that angle cock back there. If we need to recover, put in emergency, and then release. What if you could mess with this at all? PCS open. I've done this before. I must be forgetting something here. We'll do this the easy way. So I restored the PCS because I didn't really feel like dealing with that. This ain't real life, so screw it. Yeah, it is UP day. Yeah. Breaking trains, not making any gains, brother. Just trying to get this thing to start going a little bit. I don't want to start rolling too hardcore down this hill. There we go. Yeah. Kyle would call me a cheater. At least I can think. Cheater, cheater. Something you don't do in real life is this. Woo! Let's go in between cars and get coupled up. We could die. Yeah. Didn't slam it too hard. That's a win. Sure, got the independent on all the way. I'll hold it down. What's up? How's my day? My day's going pretty good. I can't complain. Where I live is cold, which is good because I don't like the heat. Playing a great game. There we go. Gotta open this baby back up. so let's go back to the head end. We should be good to go. Before we do that, though, I want to make sure I release these brakes, because then we'll get a hot wheel at some point. See that? We're starting to creep. So let's go to the head end. Alright, so we're charging up on the rear, so we can try to do this again. Let's see what's going on with Mr. Otto. Oh, he's routing him around us. That's cool. That's realistic. I'm glad Otto can deal with some controversy. That's good to know. Looks like we got 3 trains we're going to see going up. We're right here in between Iman and Caliente. Just, you know, typical UP train, like in real life, breaking in half, having problems, you know, nothing new. We'll do an old trick. Throttle up to get the air to charge up quicker. So we still should be in good shape. We should be stretched out since we're on a hill. For those of you just joining us, our train broke in half randomly. Didn't have any throttle up, throttle down, no brake application. It just decided to brake on us. So just waiting for the air to charge up, which we're looking at right here. We'll let it get to 89 and then we'll try to get going again. Yeah, UP trains break in half all the time, partially because they really don't have too many great engineers anymore. And they're using a system called EMS, which is Energy Management System. And it's basically a computer system that runs the train on its own. So it's basically the worst engineer you've ever had in your life, since it's a computer. It doesn't understand how to be smooth. So yeah, things are constantly breaking all the time. So that being said, let's see if we can get this thing going. 88 on the rear. Put some sand down. Or was it already down? Yep, okay. It was on. It was on, it was on. If you got any railroad questions, yeah, throw them in there. Ah, that horn's killing me. So let's see if we can get this independent brake off without rolling back in run 2. Yeah, there's too much force, but I don't know why, because we were on a stretch of track where we would typically break a knuckle in real life. There is some sharp curves here, but we were rolling good, no problems, and it just decided to break. So who knows? See if we can get this thing going without breaking again. "27 years, Penn Central and Conrail." Nice. What were you? Were you conductor engineer? Okay, we're all the way released. Try to get this thing rolling a little bit. Yep. If you couldn't tell by the title, I was a railroader myself, only for a couple years though, for the UP out in the Los Angeles service unit. My main route was the Cone Pass. Got to run some trains at times. I'm not claiming to be an engineer by any means. I understand the basics, so just trying to apply it to this game. Seems to be working pretty good besides whatever happened back there. Brakeman, yard crew, hump master, nice. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Back on the railroad was probably a little bit funner, I presume. You'd pull your hair out with all the rules and stupid stuff that goes on these days. My dad hired out for the Southern Pacific in the mid-90s. So I grew up around the SP and just seeing all the change that has happened as a result. And man, railroading as a whole has kind of gone to hell. That's for sure. Well, don't seem to be having any issues at the moment, so that's good. Penn Central, huh? So you were probably there and they fell apart, if I'm thinking of the right railroad. Let's try grabbing another one. It might break. We're pretty high up there, but we'll see. Just gonna send it. Old school, yeah, newer railroading. 77, 78, I'll take over. Yeah. I think I just saw a documentary on about the fall of Penn and Conrail taking over. Yeah, the newer railroading, it kind of depends. I kind of got a little bit of the older stuff. They're actually kind of going back to some older railroading stuff, getting on and off moving equipment, kicking cars. They kind of brought all that back when I was there still. The biggest thing about the newer railroading is just the technology is a pain, whether it be the locomotives or PTC, and they babysit you on camera all the time. It sucks. You can't really get anything done like you could back in the day, like in your time. So it's not too enjoyable anymore. I would not be surprised if this thing broke again here pretty soon, because there's some pretty sharp curves back there. So it might have too much power on the head end for the weight of the train. It's probably the main issue. A lot of things to take into consideration on this heavy mountain grade territory. There's actually an engineer I used to work with who worked for the Conrail out that direction back in the 80s. I'm trying to I'm trying to remember his name. His first name was John. It'd be funny if you knew him, but I can't remember his last name to save my life right now. Yeah, they're certainly changing a lot of the classification yards, hump yards, all that in general. I got trained on the RCL and actually had to do the hump in West Colton a few times. What a pain that was. I'd say the RCL units, a regular conventional crew can hump a lot more cars, quicker, safer. It just comes down to they don't want to pay a 3-man crew to do it. They'd rather pay a 1 or 2-man crew to do the job that a 3-man crew should be doing. And what suffers is productivity. I mean, the West Colton hump is kind of unique, I should say, though. It's basically, what would you call it, a gradient hump. So you don't push a train up and over hump. It's just downhill because the receiving yard in West Colton sits up higher than the rest of the yard. So, which makes that hump more difficult than your typical hump. Yep, there goes a UP train. So we got an approach. Yellow, we'll be stopping at the next signal, waiting for this guy to clear up. So we'll just keep this speed because I don't want to break it in half. But yeah, so West Colton is kind of a tricky hump compared to your typical hump yard. So the RCLs are more of a pain to use than a conventional crew. So yeah, RCLs are cool to use when they work correctly, but you know, it's like using an old computer. They're glitchy, they don't respond how you want it to, and the UP doesn't really maintain their stuff very well, and that's an understatement. Yeah, a lot of classification yards being shut down. I've heard and seen that. Seems like the major railroads are moving towards intermodal only, or at least that's their goal, in some of the unit trains like coal, grain, because those make a lot of money too. So that's kind of a shame. The manifest is dropped a lot, probably since your days even. Yeah, it's a shame, but everything's kind of gone overseas, it seems like, for business and all that, so what are you gonna do? Like I said, the RCLs are such a pain. They're really cool when they work good, but that's rare. I think the job I hated the most was the hump at West Colton, which is in California. That was just, I had a 18,000 ton cut of cars I had to hump one time with two SD40s and an SD38 that was built for the hump back in when the SP built the yard. And yeah, those 3 units couldn't handle 18,000 tons. So you'd have to hump some cars, it would start over speeding, then it goes into emergency. You'd have to reset it, pull back up if you could. I mean, it barely would pull it back up. Start humping again, you'd probably get 5 to 10 more cars that go into emergency, and then you basically just repeated that until the cut got light enough to where the locomotives could handle the weight of it. So yeah, that was such a pain. Oh my gosh. Real fast. Yeah, like I said, RCLs are cool. It's just a matter if they want to work. You know, you maintain anything I should say, and it works. But UP's not good at that. So, you know, we got through those pretty tight curves and we didn't get a knuckle again, so that was kind of weird. There was a surge. What's kind of funny about this game is they do have these power surges and stuff that you can get with these locomotives, and it had a surge and then it broke right after that, so I wonder if we're just kind of right on the limit for head-end power and then that kind of sent it over or what, so I don't know. I had RCLs totally wig out on me a few times. I was shoving some cars into a track in West Colton. I was in, there's different basically notches for the throttle. There's like, I can't remember, 2, 4, 6, 7, maybe 8 and 10. I can't remember exactly, but I was going 7 miles an hour, and the RCL I was using just decided, nope, I'm gonna glitch out and stop. And I was riding behind an empty center beam car, so I got to slam my head into that metal wall because I didn't know it was going to stop all of a sudden. So that was cool. It was stuff like that, or it was like if I got called to run on RCL, I was like, oh my gosh, you can take it and have that crap. Do you know what happens when you have a power running an RCL in crouch? I don't understand the question. There's a lot of different RCL boxes and modes depending on the railroad or the region. Just in the UP, there was, you go to different service units, they use different boxes. Now the boxes are the controls that you attach to your vest, and that box has everything on it. The box I used, I don't think worked how with what the question is you're asking. We used, it was a green box, it was pretty small, and there was like, I don't want to say 2 or 3 other types that were kind of used throughout different railroads and areas of railroads. So who'd you like working for better, Conrail or Penn Central? Let's hear it. A lot of debate with these different railroads. Oh, I get what you're saying. So yeah, if you tilt the box at a 90-degree angle, yeah, it does go into emergency, and it would actually alert the yardmaster. Because basically, if the box is at a 93-degree angle, that means that something most likely happened to you, like you fell. So as a safety feature, it was actually something that we had to test every time we linked up to a set. So RCL set, which was 3 locomotives, typically SD40s. Yeah, you'd have to do a box test to see if you tip the box over 90 degrees, if it would set out an emergency broadcast to the yardmaster like it's supposed to. Did I ever go on a train over the Tatchby Loop? No, I did not. I was in the Los Angeles service unit, so it was not my territory. I would have to been in the Roseville service unit, which is where the Bakersfield guys come run out of. That's in that service unit. I almost got to seniority swap with a guy in Bakersfield, so then I would have gone into the Roseville service unit, and then I would have been able to go over the Tatchby as my route, but that ended up not happening, unfortunately. But Cone Pass, Yuma subdivision, Los Angeles subdivision, Alhambra subdivision, basically Southern California as a whole was where I worked. Actually got to get a train out at Kelso, which is on the SEMA subdivision going east out of Yermo, like you're driving towards Las Vegas, but out in the middle of nowhere because the railroad doesn't follow the 15. That was pretty cool. Kelso's like a really old railroad community that's basically dead these days. But yeah, I got to get a coal train out of there and bring it back to Yermo, so I was heading west. And yeah, it's some old school railroading out there going across the desert, water towers from the steam engine days. That was really enjoyable. I'm glad I got to do that. That was awesome. We're going to give it a set. So we are in run 3. So we will probably try to leave in run 2 or 3 when we get going again. Did I enjoy the scenery? Yeah, I did. You know, working in Southern California, there's a lot of like city, right? You're going through cities, which I don't care for. I love the country. That's why I think Tehachapi is an awesome route to get a chance to be on. But there was some good scenery, you know, going through the Cone Pass certain times of year. Like I said, running that train from Kelso back to Yermo was cool because it was just like old school desert railroading. You know, just stuff like that. I'm gonna take a little bathroom break. I'll be back in literally like a minute or two. So we're running this real train in this game, and I gotta take a real bathroom break. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Horsepower about being an engineer, right there. Having to hold your pee. Alright, so I didn't want this thing to roll away, so we'll throttle down and see. What are your thoughts about CSX moving the frogs on switches to save on maintenance on sidings? Well, it seems to kind of be the trend of railroading these days is they want to cut cost and maintenance and anything that has them spending money to the most they absolutely can, no matter what. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I'd imagine that the switch speeds are probably going to be reduced quite a bit. So I'm sure the crews aren't going to be too happy about that. So yeah, that's the thing. This whole precision railroading thing has really, it's done a number on the railroad industry, and I saw the transition of it with the UP, and it was terrible. I mean, when I got out of training, everything was still normal. You know, trains were being ran correctly. There's plenty of power. I mean, when I got out of training, the UP was so busy, they had every locomotive out of storage. So, I mean, there was old SD60 standard cabs, SD60s, you know, running mainline trains, or at least in the consist. They even brought the SD90s out of storage, which those things are the biggest pieces of crap on earth. All they do is break. There was still some C40-8s, I believe they're called, the standard cabs from back in the 80s that were on some trains too. And then when they went to precision railroading, they just slowly started storing power again, even though we were still busy, and they're just overusing all the power. So we started getting so many issues with our power, and it's just completely worn out now. I mean, I've been gone a year and a half, removed from working there, and my dad is still there, and man, it sounds bad. So, yeah, it's crazy. But what are you going to do? If they would have just left it how it was before precision railroading, I mean, it was great, you know. They've changed so much. They tried cutting all the haulers, which haulers are trains that are manifest trains that yep, here we go. They run from one yard to another within somewhat of a shorter proximity than your typical mainline train. So like you have the L Central hauler that run from West Colton to El Centro, or the LA hauler, Long Beach hauler, Guadalupe hauler. There's a LA hauler. I might have said that already. Quite a few haulers. And at one point they tried cutting all those. So it's dumb. Let this thing load up. At one point they combined all the Long Beach and LA haulers into one super hauler, and it was like 12,000 feet long and 20,000 tons, and all the thing did was freaking break in half and clog up the main line, because none of the sidings or even the signal blocks are meant to have that kind of length of a train, you know. That's another thing that's happening, is you got these giant trains that they're trying to run, and the railroad's not built for it. So I mean, the longest train I got was 15,000 feet. Like, so now the dispatchers have to think where they can stop you, if there's road crossings or crossovers. It's just, the railroad is not fun anymore, I'll say that. And I'm glad I left. I'm glad I got to do it though. I grew up around it, but it is not fun unless you probably go and work for a short line somewhere where they actually appreciate you. So once again, kind of easing out. I don't want to break this thing in half. We stopped in 1-3, so we start in run 3. If you're joined, we're just getting going. We're at Caliente. We're trying to get this thing going on the grade without breaking it in half. So here we go. Alright, everything's off. Wait for this to settle down a bit, and then we'll start throttling up. Alright, let's go. These signal boards are kind of crazy. They're very close to the crossings. Short line is where everyone gets fired from a class 1 goes to work. Yeah, that is true. But they're not all bad. I know some good railroaders that decided to, they wanted to move out of California, and they went and found a short line, and they're happy now. Does anybody know how to change the horn on this game? Because it is killing me. This is not an SD40 horn. This is like a SD70 ACE horn. Same thing with the bell. What class 1 did you work for, Robert? Alright, let's see if this thing will break again. I wish this thing would go away so I could actually see. Come on. I'm gonna keep it in 7 as we go around. That's pretty hard on the train right here. Big horseshoe like that. Ah, BNSF. Well, of the big railroads on the West Coast, you worked for the better one. At least up until a couple years ago. On a 30-day, oh man, what'd you do? Just kidding. Here's the rear end, so yeah, we're pretty short, but it's heavy. It's like 7,000 tons. That might be why it broke earlier. On a clear, post 336.2. There's no alerter in this cab, so I just honked the horn to get rid of it. It's pretty cool, huh? Bell, sander, sanding lead truck. No alerter anywhere. High vis point system, is that for attendance? The reason why I left is because the UP attendance policy was just absolutely ridiculous. I got a few health issues where I actually need to get some kind of sleep. Obviously the railroad kind of wasn't great for that, but the UP changed their attendance policy to where I could only take 24 hours off once every 3 weeks. So imagine working 3 weeks straight with no schedule and then only getting 1 day off. That couldn't do it. Couldn't do it with my issues. I tried and tried, but had to give it up. The old attendance policy, I could do it no problem. So it's unfortunate, but I decided to move out of California anyways, so it all worked out. Alright, let's see if we can do run 8, huh? It's pushing it. Yeah, I was new, so I didn't have enough personal leave days or vacation days or FL days or anything like that really to be able to take any time off to recover when they came with that new policy, so that didn't help either. You know, if you've been in the game for 15 years or so, you got some decent days off you can take when it comes to vacation and personal leave days. I only got 1 week and 2 PL days all year, so just wasn't able to do it, but that's all right. It was fun while it lasted. Tunnel number 1. Let's see what's going on with the dispatcher screen. Wouldn't this be nice back in the day, Robert? Be able to see what the dispatch is doing. That would have been great. So we're right here. Cranky Old Head. That's my engineer's name. And we got we got some trains coming at us. It looks like. We'll see. Milepost 337. If you guys didn't know, we got engineer Kyle over here. He's pretty mindless, and he drives an F-150 and drinks a whole lot of Monster, so I'd say he's not a good conductor. He hasn't said one word, and he doesn't look forward, so. Oh yeah, my health is, it's nothing crazy. It's not life-threatening. Basically, when I was a teenager, I had a really severe head injury, so as I got a little bit older, it started kind of catching back up to me, and with not getting sleep and, you know, any good schedule or diet at the railroad, it just kind of took its toll, so with the new attendance policy, I just wasn't able to stick through it, so it is what it is. I'm doing fine and financially, and I'm in good mental health, so no complaints. I'm just glad I got the opportunity, got to experience it, because my dad still works there. He's an engineer, and I get to hear all the crap that's going on, and it's only gotten a whole lot worse since I've been there, so I'm not upset at all. Dark territory. Yeah, not a whole lot of dark territory out on the west coast anymore. At least on the UP. I mean, you got your branch lines and stuff like that, but Calexico subdivision, which comes off the Yuma Sub and Nyland, heads down to El Centro on the border. That's dark territory, but I never went down that way. Coastal sub goes through Simi Valley, Oxnard, up through Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo. That's I wouldn't say that's dark territory either. I think they got ABS on that. I almost got a chance to go up there, but got bumped right as I got on that board. The life of a newbie at the railroad. Checked out. Oh, hey, see that? I honked the horn, he woke up. Finally. Going into tunnel number 2. Where are you working at these days, Robert? What railroad? Be cool if this unit had old gyro lights. Yeah, good talking to you, Robert. I'll be doing this more often. Make sure to subscribe and look out for us. Have a good one. Flasher. So I'm guessing at Bealville we're going to stop. Like the SP days where they had so many different signal configurations, and I don't know, just seemed cool back then. They really seemed like they went the extra mile with the signals, where now everything's like really standard. Things like this, they sit up so high because they want you to be able to see it when you're coming down way over there. Or these days, they'd be sitting down low, you won't probably see until about right here. So that's a big difference, man, and that's awesome to know what's going on, if you can. Let's check the dispatch screen, huh? So we're here. It's past Allard, heading towards Bealville. We got a westbound coming. There's another westbound here. Another one here, here, and here. And here. So we'll have quite a bit of meets if we see them. I'll probably go about another hour or so. We'll see what kind of big boy stuff I gotta do here in a bit. Yeah. 9.5. That's what I'm talking about. Some real UP railroading right here. Just grind it out on the hill. Hardly any power. I need my boy Golden Wonder to get this game so he could shove me up the hill. Because, adding another unit or two on the head end, that doesn't make any sense. The locomotives look pretty cool in this game, gotta give them that. Gotta give them that. Make sure these things are actually working. Gotta get the right position in the cab. What would you guys like to see in the future? Right now my 3 games are this one, Transport Fever 2, and I think I'm going to get back to the Derail Valley, which I never really got into in the first place, but I think I'm actually going to get into it now. Came out with some cool maps for Transport Fever 2. Actually, I made this map. It's on the workshop. Turned out really good. Just got done making a giant map of SoCal, so that one's really cool if you're into the railroad side of that game. I laid all the track out realistically with all the SP routes, UP route, and Santa Fe routes. That's kind of the game I've been playing the most of lately, but I want to get, this one and maybe Derail Valley going too. Have some diversity. Got any railroad questions, shoot them in there in the chat. Whatever you want. Yeah, we're holding we're holding all these trains up because we're so slow. He hasn't knocked down the signal yet at Cliff. This one's coming out of Rowan. Got another one at Woodford. Another one coming up the cable, and then two more behind that. Really, this is version 3 of Run 8 Train Simulator. Highly recommend you get it. Best train simulator out there. I've tested all of them. You can check out our channel for my reviews of all the different train simulators. The only thing that's not up to par is these graphics. But I'm not a huge graphics guy. Be nice if they were better, of course, but more the physics and everything you can do in this game is just beyond next level. Earlier I explained how there's probably 200 different industries you can service. So you can do locals yard jobs, you can hump in Barstow. You can just get crazy on this. It's multiplayer too, by the way. So you can have a server with you and all your friends and go to town with all this. And yeah, great game. Highly recommend it. I think it was actually made by some railroaders, so that's probably why it's so good. It's typically what it takes. When we run up the hill, we can. How about that? A horseshoe. Got the Bealville crossovers right there. It's funny, the clouds don't look that bad, but then you get to this, and it's like, man. So if you click on these box cars, this is a tagger. So you tag this car to an industry, meaning that's the destination for that specific car. So if you know what the industry is, there's typically like a 3-letter acronym for it. Then you can tag this car to it. You can take it there to be loaded or unloaded based on what the industry requires. There's a way to pull up the industry list so you can see what it requires and where these industries are at. And then you can take them there, and there's actually like a turnaround time. It'll tell you, hey, it takes 40 hours to unload these cars. So you can leave those alone, go about other business, and then come back to it days later. So really cool system. As I get more into this game, I'm hoping to come up with some cool things like that. Hey, do you remember me? I'm back. Alright. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. That would be awesome. Trying to build this channel up so we can do more cool stuff. The bigger we get, the more time I will definitely put into all this and come out with better stuff. Just starting to get into this. We got the Bealville crossovers. Like I said, really cool how the SP had these so many different types of signals to help their crews see what's coming up. Oh, my load and weight. You know, I forget. Let me go to the controls really quick, since we're just kind of not doing a whole lot. Engineer view. Really need to write some of this stuff down. Train. No. I want to say. Can't remember. I think this train is roughly like 4,000 feet long, 7,000 tons. So it's probably what you would call a bowling ball. Not too heavy though. Bowling ball being a short train that's heavy, because when you have a short train that's really heavy, it reacts a lot quicker than if it were, say, even 2,000 feet longer, 1,000 feet longer. So that short heavy train really comes in on you if you're going downhill, or if you're going cross terrain that's changing constantly up and down curves. So you gotta be a little cautious with bowling ball. Oh, it looks like we finally got this train coming up on us. Just made his way down from Cliff. We might actually meet him, be able to go out the other end without stopping. That'd be cool. Yep, there he is. I think I heard something about that. Yeah, horseshoe curve, 400 long cars, long train. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. I want to say the longest train I had was, well, it was a stack train, so it was 15,000 feet. I know that, so about 3 miles. It's pretty ridiculous. And that was going south, so we had to climb up to the Cone Pass summit from the backside, which is a grade of itself. Not as steep as coming up north, but then we brought it back down. Proceed on signal indication. Alright, so we're lined out, going to the next sighting. It's weird when you have a long train, it creates a lot more drag when there's curves like this. So, meaning you got the resistance of the wheel up against the rail, and the longer train you have, the more drag you have. So, the longer train you have, the more bogged down you're typically gonna get, and that's going up or down. So the curves are your friend going downhill. They're not your friend going uphill. So I am using SD40 tunnel motors. That's what I grew up around with my dad being at the SP. Always thought they were cool, so gotta use them. Gotta use them. Saw an NS train yesterday, 16,400 feet. Yeah, you know, depending on the terrain, you know, a lot of trains in the Midwest and back east don't have too much significant grade. So I know in the Midwest they run some monster trains because it's mainly flat, and you don't need too many locomotives either because there's not too many grades. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. That seems to be the name of the game, is these monster trains these days. That's kind of what precision railroading is created. give you a shot. Tunnel motors. They got a cool DLC pack for this game where it's all like SP and Rio Grande tunnel motors. I think I might have to pick that up. Like I said earlier, it'd be awesome if can get some modders on this game, start tricking out these units with new paint schemes and stuff like that, but I don't know, we'll see. Need to make this game a little bit more well known, I think. Yeah, bunch them up. What I learned was the best thing to do. A lot of the SP Southern Pacific conductors, what they would do is they'd stretch brake. So you crest a grade, apply minimum set, stretch the train out with the brakes on. You're still in throttle, and then as you start descending, you just start throttling out. Start notching down. And then if you need some more air brakes, you can apply them, or you can go into dynamics. So the train's stretched out, so nothing's bunched up. So it's just a good way to know what your train's going to do when you crest the grade, because bunching up can be make you a little nervous sometimes, because you don't know if the dynamics are going to hold, especially these days because they don't maintain anything. So I personally like the stretch brake. Just seemed more reliable and a little safer. Pot signal. Can't see nothing because of my sunshade. This is Bealville. Basically nothing's here except for this little farm in real life. Got a cliff up there because it's on the side of a cliff. Longest tunnel, the route's coming up right here. Yeah, old school freight cars. Yeah, I could see that. They were built differently. How much was the a loaded coal car back then? You remember? These days they're around 100 tons. Guess you don't get the headlight graphics. And whatever black stuff this is. HCS comes out tomorrow for Train Sim World 2. I'm not really in the know with Train Sim World. What route is that, if you don't mind typing it out? Or is it an update, or what is it specifically? I've only played that game a couple times. I just kind of reviewed the physics of that game. Wasn't impressed. Kind of like the typical train simulator games. That's why I kind of fall back to this one. Here, the Trains with a Z franchise is coming out with a new one. That's a game I liked a lot because I like creating my own maps and routes and detail and all that. But the physics are pretty much, they're a little bit better than Train Sim World or Train Simulator. You actually have some slack on that game. Some legitimate slack, I should say. Horseshoe curve. Okay, right on. Yeah, maybe when that game goes on sale, I'll pick it up. Just to kind of dink around with it. I mean, the graphics are great. Definitely cool. I think running passenger service on that game definitely seems like it's a good thing to do with its physics. I think that's the problem with these other train simulator games, is the physics are kind of based around like your typical passenger train physics. I also get rid of the alert, but because that's what I've noticed. So if they can get it a little bit better on the freight side of things, I would definitely be more in tune to play those games. But like I said, like Amtrak, stuff like that, that'd be fun to play on Train Sim World too. Especially trying to keep a tight schedule and hit the stations right and all that. That's something that I would like to do. Your life, your EOT would glitch out due to tunnels, as they do all the time. Yeah. Tunnels, mountains, train length. We're obviously a short train today, but train length has a lot to do with it too. So I'm sure the crews deal with a lot of issues with these tunnels, especially now with DPUs. Gotta imagine they probably lose connection with the DPUs a lot on this route. And depending on the rules, can't remember the exact rules, but believe there was, I'm trying to think back, there's a few times where I lost the EOT coming down Beaumont Hill, coming into like Whitewater, Palm Springs on the Yuma sub, and it was like it's gotta come back within like a minute, or there was some stipulation where if it comes back in time you can keep going, but if it doesn't, I think you're supposed to stop your train and reconnect, just obviously as a safety precaution. So but anywho, didn't have to deal with it too much. When they started making these giant trains though, that's when the DPU stuff started becoming an issue. Just because longer train lengths, man, they don't like that. You'd have to get a repeater so that it extends the length of the radio communication. And it was just, it was a pain. I had a, what was it, 22,000 ton North Platte, which is a manifest train, coming down. We got it in Yermo, and we had to put like 3 units in the middle of the train, 2 units on the rear, like another unit or 2 on the head end, and just a nightmare. It's basically just 2 trains in one. It was a Autorac train and a manifest train, both from North Platte combined, because they think that you know, not calling an extra crew to run the other train like it should be, save the money. But instead, it took about 3 times as long to get from North Platte to West Colton, California. But UP's very stubborn. It's their way or the highway. Yeah, Dovetail. They really need to do some research or hire somebody to help them with a lot of things. There's a lot of little details, a lot of big details. What they really need to do is get a former railroader or a couple and just use them as feedback. You know, use them as testing the game. So I feel like, I don't know, I just get so bored playing those Dovetail games just because there's not much to it. With this game, you got to think. There's a lot of things you got to think about. We're going uphill. This is the most boring time. But, I mean, when you're going across the flats, when you're coming to a stop, when you're going downhill, there's so many things to think about with this game. And there's really none of that on Dovetail, I found. So, yeah, they need to make some changes. If they did, I think they would skyrocket. Not that they're not successful already, but hopefully, hopefully they're hearing some feedback on the physics. You know, hopefully they see some videos like my own where I review the games and give feedback on the physics and the things that they can change, and not only the negative things but the things they do good, because I'm not just here just to criticize. You know, I want to see these games become as realistic as possible. I want to see them fun to play, because to me, running a heavy freight train in real life was a lot of fun. It was challenging. You had to think, you had to learn, you had to feel all these different things that made it fun, in my opinion, because I like a challenge. And you know, if they can capture that experience, which I totally believe they can, then, you know, I think the sky's the limit. But hey, what are you gonna do? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I played the regular Train Simulator 2022, and I actually did the Cajon pass route. Started in Barstow, and I had to quit by Hesperia, which is like halfway through, just because I couldn't take how unrealistic the game was. I mean, the independent wasn't working. There was no slack. There was literally nothing. It was like running on flat ground. No physics. I mean, I was going uphill trying to stop, which would be really easy in real life, obviously. I was having to set air and go into dynamics pretty hard to stop on an uphill. And you know, I get games aren't going to be 100% realistic, like this game probably isn't as well, but man, Train Simulator, that was just atrocious. That was bad. So, I actually have a video of that if you want to check it out on our channel. It's somewhere on there. UP Conductor plays Train Simulator, should be something like that, titled. But yeah, it was so bad I couldn't keep playing it. So, like I said, I'm not just here to criticize. I like playing these games. I want to find a good game like this one and have fun with it. So, Let's see what's going on with the dispatch screen, huh? So we are here. We're lined up to Rowan. We have probably going to see 4 more coming against us here pretty soon. So that'll be something than just grinding uphill like this forever. Another complaint I do have about this game is that the rolling stock, they don't give you all the different types of rolling stock when it comes with the game. I think there's like stack cars, there's center beams, there's box cars, obviously. There's most of the different types of rail cars, but there's some pretty important ones I feel like they left out that come in DLC packs, like coal cars and stuff like that, where I feel like those are kind of basics that should be included, but you know, they don't have a very big community with this game, so and I know that they put a ton of effort into this as well, so they got to make it worth it. So hopefully this game will get bigger, and so that maybe they'll start providing us with some free content or something. Road slugs, yeah, I never got to see any of those either. I think the BNSF still has a few that they use on humping, and like you said, the Norfolk Southern UP doesn't. Trying to think, they pretty much just use SD38s and SD40s for humping, and then locals and switchers, they use, you know, 4-axle Jeeps and some SD40s. They got rid of all the hybrid locomotives, thank God. Those things were terrible. So that was good. Actually, when I was in training, I had to take my RCL test, and I had got to take my test because all the hybrid locomotives are called gensets. They were all broken down, so they got this old GP15 from I don't know where, but they dug it out from somewhere. And man, that was the best locomotive I ever ran with the RCL box. I wish they would have kept that thing around while I was working. That was great. Power when you needed it. Yeah, gensets, ew, exactly. They were so bad. It's like, hey, let's pull a trailer with a Prius. That's basically what it was like. The GP15 single-handedly handled way more cars than 2 gensets could ever handle. And this thing was old and beat up, and yeah, it was bad. But hey, it worked great. It's pretty cool though when I worked there, even though it was quite a bit after the Southern Pacific. Still saw some old Southern Pacific GP40s and 60s hanging around here and there, and old SP road units, Dash 9s, so that was pretty cool. I grew up around that, so it was nice to see they're still around. Cotton belt stuff, saw some of that. There was a couple C&W units left at the time. I don't think there are any now. I don't think there was any Rio Grande stuff left. So, if you guys got any railroad questions, shoot them in there. Like I said earlier, just hanging out, trying to see what goes on. This is my first time going over this route. First time really sitting down and playing this game like you should. So, this is as much of a test as anything as well. I'm going to continue doing this hopefully a couple times a week, doing various different things, various types of trains, maybe some locals, you know, just try to take advantage of everything you can do in this game, which is a lot. So, another tunnel coming up. I think we're just got past Cliff. Let's jump out for a sec. Walk through the train. Apparently you can't die in this game. Yeah, this would be a phenomenal route to get to go on. Old tunnel motors. I think it was the SD90s that were 6,000 horsepower. The Max, I know the Santa Fe has some of those. I think those are 4,000 horsepower, if I can recall correctly. But the SD90s were the EMD's response, I think, to the AC 6000s, which were built by GE. The 6000s, I think, had to be downgraded at some point just because that much horsepower wasn't working. Like I said a little earlier, the SD90s were junk. All they would do is brake. They had weird hand brakes on them, electronic hand brakes. That wouldn't work. They brought them out for a brief period in 2018 when I was at the UP, and yeah, like the UP Roundhouse was like full of SD90s for like 2 months because none of them wanted to work, but they certainly tried to make them work, so that was kind of funny. So they ended up just sitting, but they were desperate for power back then, back when they actually took care of them halfway decent. Yeah, this seems like a pretty cool part of the route. There's a really neat video you guys should check out on YouTube. Just type in SP cab ride over Tehachapi. It's from like 1990. It was an old oil train that they used to run out of Seiko, which is down by Bakersfield, and it's a cab ride in an old tunnel motor like this, but in the SP days. Really neat to see it back then. C39-8s. Yeah, we didn't have any of those, but I've seen some pictures of those, and they even looked kind of funny. How the cab was lower than the body behind it. They just looked like they were like the cousins that you don't ever want to talk to or hang out with or something. What's the radio channel? Are we still on 14? Yeah, we're still on 14. That's right. I remember. Channel 14 all the way down to, so I think Colton pretty much. "10 miles an hour." So, need another unit or two next time. That's for sure. Probably 2.5 horsepower per ton would be good next time. I was just kind of guesstimating. 7,000 ton train roughly. We got 5 tunnel motors. What'd be really cool, guys, is to if I can get someone else to play with, or even my buddy old Golden Wonder, do helper operations like they used to back on the SP, where they cut them in, like they cut in 4 or 5 units. That would be pretty neat. SD40 high hoods. Yeah, those are pretty cool. I think high hoods are pretty neat. I like the old like SP SD9s. Those are pretty cool too. Never got to see any of those because they kind of phased them out when the UP took over. I think my dad got to run a couple of them at the SP back in the day. Something you never see. No dynamic brake SD42 units. Yeah. I think the majority of them had dynamics, that's why. So we got intermediate. We're one signal away from Rowan, I believe. Let's check on the dispatcher screen and see what's coming at us. So we're lined up all the way to Woodford, which is right before the loop. Alright. That'll be nice. I'll at least get us over the loop before I gotta jump off and do some stuff, so stay with us. We'll be on for a little while longer. Never been around the loop on this game, so might as well make it a first. Woodford, Rowan. So they got a train lined into Woodford. It's that one right there. Then we got another one coming down. Another one behind him and another one behind him, but he's pretty far out. Crawling up through the canyon. Why don't we get out? Get some height, huh? So Rowan, we're not too far there. We're lined up past Rowan. That's a pretty cool shot. If the graphics were better, it'd be really neat, but you know. Just climbing away. Pretty short. I mean, there's the tail end of our train right there. Makes you think, you know, how many units you really had to have to get a decent sized train over this route back in the day. Hey, Kerbo. Good to hear from you, man. I try to keep up on your videos, like your stuff. Thanks. Having a good trip so far, except the 10-mile-an-hour speed. I kind of messed up on the power I needed to get over this at a decent speed. But that's what happens sometimes. Keep up the good work on your channel, man. Really think it would be cool. Get a server with you or somebody else or something on this game. That'd be a lot of fun. So much we can do. Alright, let's jump back in the cab. We still got a ways to the loop. If you look on the dispatch screen, we're just coming up on Rowan. Then we got Woodford, and then way long is the siding on the loop. So got a little bit of time to go, but we're getting there. Started down here, Bakersfield Yard. One thing that's cool is I actually had to tone up the dispatcher on here and get authority to come out of Bakersfield. So that's cool. I like that feature. That's pretty realistic. It's kind of weird though, the authority I had to get wasn't exactly correct to real life. It said proceed on signal indication and there was no signal, and when I tried to request authority to enter the main line, it said you can't do that, so I had to do it based on signal indication. So that was kind of weird, but whatever. Clear. Look at it. It's green. How's our conductor Kyle doing over there? Yeah. Still thinking about Monster energy drinks and F-150s, I see. Can't expect much, you know. Can't expect much. Anybody know how to change the horn? I know there's a way to do it. I can't remember how to do it. So if anybody's on there, that would be great. Boopity boop. Alright, let's jump back out for a second here. Oh, we're not flying. Darn it. There's the rear. Now we're flying. This will be a cool shot right here. Sneaking around like that. So we're on Rowan. Actually been to this bridge right here. Then we have Woodford right here, and then past that we got the loop just below that hill right there. Just below the hill. Jeez. 10 miles an hour. Woo-wee. I remember one time I had to go up the Cone Pass at like 7 or 8 miles an hour. That was hair pulling. Let's go out this way and see what we can do. So here's the loop up here. We got a train coming down the loop. Hey, that was good timing, huh? Watch me go back to my train here in a minute and just everything's on the ground. So the loop siding is actually pretty short. It's like 4,800 feet, I think, before they made a double track. Oh, look at this version. It's actually double track. So they must have updated the route a little bit with this new version. Noise, noise. So this guy will probably be waiting for us at Woodford again, so we'll just keep a straight shot right up the hill for the most part. Nice. Alright, let's make sure our train is not on fire. Yep, still grinding away, you know, doing its thing. See what we're holding up. How about that? Let me just double check something here. Okay, yeah, we're lined up to Rowan unless the dispatcher changes his mind. But I don't think he will. I'm not seeing anything behind us. They held up down there. Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice. Glad we weren't that train. We would have been there for like an hour and a half. Noise. Flying around. Yeah, it is nice that they have the route updated. Trains 19. I never played Trains 19. What'd you think of that game? Was it pretty good? I kind of got tired of them having the same content every time, like the same locomotives, and just didn't seem like they really like it. Didn't seem like it warranted like a new game most of the time. But what do you think? Did you like it? I know they're coming out with a 22. I tried to be a tester for that game, but they never got back to me. It's all right. Trains. All right, you love it. Yeah, I saw the graphics looked a lot better, and maybe the surveyor as well. Pretty interested to see how 22 is when it comes out. I'm definitely gonna wait on it though and see what other people say. Well, we're about halfway into April and it's 32 degrees at my house. Ready for some warmer temperatures. Yeah, custom route building on. Yeah, that's why I like the train series. It's just the route building's awesome. I'm gonna use the little boys' room real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Is everything still in one piece? Yeah, it looks like it. See what the dispatcher screen's doing. So we're here at Rowan. They already got the UP5417 Woodford siding. So we'll be lined up till then. And it looks like either us or the UP8733 is going to be stopping and way longer. Maybe they'll hold us for the other train at Woodford. We'll see. Building my hometown route. I have a year and 5 months in the route so far. Dang. Yeah. You can get as detailed as you want in that game. That's the cool part. That's what I like about it. I actually made a whole, I made the entire West Colton classification yard in Trains a New Era. That took some time. Every track, like everything. All based on my memory from working there and using Google Earth in a few spots just to make sure I got it right. But yeah, it was a task. There's a video on our channel of that as well. Unfortunately, lost that file, so that kind of sucks. But what are you gonna do? I also have, I believe, some locomotives on a download station somewhere. Some reskins that I did. I figured out how to reskin locomotives on that game, and that was fun. I'd really like to figure out how to do it on this game, but it seems pretty hard. So, if anybody knows, let me know. I'll go ham with this stuff. Something just happened. This unit just shut off. It did. Must have overheated. You can open this. That's what happens. Can you open the control panel? I don't think so. Well, I thought 10 was bad. Should have stopped complaining. Make sure we got all of our units up, I guess. That one done did that on us. I like that. I like that, yeah. Is it just dead? Wonder. There's a reason for that. Can I fix it? Alright, it's running. Nope. Huh. I killed it. Whoops. Is there a way to figure out what killed it? Anybody know? It's on run. Well, I'm gonna have to say some prayers, I guess, that these other 4 units don't go belly up. That's cool, though. That's pretty realistic. And what's bad, though, is that when you get down with these DC units pretty low, you could really burn them up. Compared to like AC units these days, you can be at 1 miles an hour and have no problems. As long as we can make it to the loop, we'll be golden. try to fix this thing. Whoops. That's what I thought. I didn't know this controlled the rest. That's funny. And we're broken. Start. Well, shoot. Made a boo-boo. Well, guys, this is going to take a while to fix, so I think I'm going to end it here because, you know, I got to go do adult stuff here in a minute. But, I'll be doing this more often. If you liked it, make sure to like it. And, yeah, well, it is the UP, you know. We broke a train in half, so that's how it goes. I thought trying to get the lead locomotive running again and messing with the generator field switches would help, but apparently it caused the power surge through the rest of the power, so that's cool. Lesson learned. But anyways, guys, if you like this video, leave a comment, like it, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to do this more often, probably towards the middle part of the day, afternoon. So look out for that. And yeah, we'll check you next time. Hopefully we don't do this again. So every time I leave and come back. That's good timing, dude. Old Golden Wonder. Yeah. Yeah, we're running like the UP up in here, bro. That's all I know. Slow trains, mechanical failures, and break in halves. That's what the UP's best at. Alright, now I'm going to end the video, guys. We'll try again next time. We'll check you later.